Hey, it's E with Reality, and welcome to my channel. We will talk all things reality TV and hot topics. Now, before we get started into the video, can we make sure we are subscribing to the channel and liking the video? Thank y'all. Now, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Housewives. So, we're season 17, episode 10. We pick up with Pinky putting together a team for her scripted TV series that she is funding. She's going to have Natari from 3LW in Power play her. I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty cool. She's a very good actor, so she is going to be playing Pinky in this scripted TV series. She does make it clear that she is filing bankruptcy, but it's for personal, has nothing to do with her business. Which again, when it came out in the news that she was filing for bankruptcy, I thought it was reversed. I thought she was filing business bankruptcy and not personal. So, but she says it's personal. So, good luck to her with that. The ladies are meeting up at Lake Bailey. So we have Angela, Portia, Drew, and Phaedra all coming to Cynthia's house. Um, Phaedra is actually a little late, so she does not have the pleasure of meeting Cynthia's man at this time. His name is Prince. He's 39. I said, "All right, Cynthia, I see you." Cause I mean, it's a little hard out here with these men. So if you gotta go a little bit younger, then I guess you gotta go a little bit younger. Cause me and my friends been thinking the same things. We might need to tap into a little younger pool, but that'll be another discussion for another day. The ladies recap Portia and Kelly's meeting. Portia says that basically the moral of the story is that they're going to talk to each other instead of other people. Now, I thought that they already kind of had this discussion before, that they would talk to each other instead of other people, and we're back here. So maybe moving forward, that will actually be the case. She says they did bring up the talk about the plot. Portia says that she asked Kay who told her, because obviously it's causing her to have a lot of different difficulties in the relationships. And that's when Angela says she thinks it's Shamia. So then, of course, Angela goes into her back and forth with Shamia, which again was a mess. And Portia excuses herself from that conversation once they start talking about sleeping with NBA players and football players. Portia said she put that finger up and she said, "Let me tiptoe on up out of here. Because I don't want to make a facial expression. I don't want to do nothing because I don't want nobody to say I said anything. I nodded a little different. I don't want none of it." Portia said, let me tiptoe out. I'm not really mad at that because I could definitely see someone being like, when Angela was saying this, Portia's face did this. So if she felt like she needed to leave the room, then she left the room. So again, Phaedra eventually shows up. So again, they're all just kind of sitting around talking. And Cynthia gets a text. I think Cynthia was the only one who got the text, or maybe she was the only one on her phone at that moment, but it was her and Phaedra in a group text about a birthday party for Shmia's husband. Um, so it was like the next day or something, and she wanted them to wear African attire. And so Cynthia's like, "Dang, we just got this text at 8 o'clock this evening. Where am I gonna find African attire?" And Portia says, "This the first time you hearing about this?" And they're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Cause she told Dennis it like a week ago." So basically, so she invited Dennis, and she only invited Cynthia and Phaedra. She did not invite Angela, obviously. She did not invite Portia. She did not invite Drew. Um, so those three ladies were excluded from the invitation. I mean, I guess I kind of understand because it is for her husband. It's at her home. So you wouldn't want to have mess at your husband's party, especially if he has family and things there. So I totally understand that. Um, they I think Phaedra might have said, or somebody said, about Drew can be there plus one. Drew said she not crashing no more parties. Um, and Portia gonna say, well, whose party did you crash? Drew said your party. Then they start laughing, and they, of course, they flash back to Drew at the. I think that was, I can't remember if that was Nashville or where they were, where she came when her and Portia were not on the best of terms, but now they are. So we have a cute moment with K Michelle and her son on FaceTime. You do get to see a little softer side of K Michelle when she's interacting with her son. He has graduated from college. He will be attending grad school. He lives in DC. Um, so she said he can read her with the best of them. I thought that was cute. Um, but yeah, so she was getting on him about, I think he said he was going to the movies or something. So she basically is warning him, like, you should let me pick who you dating, because you don't want no scallywags out here. I said, I know that's right, honey. You got to be careful out here in these streets. Because, baby, these streets are a little rough. Um, so Shamiha and her husband arrive at their house for the surprise party. They have a band escorting them in. I thought that was cute. Um, with their African attire, they had done a photo shoot. I think that's how she had got him out the house. She had his friends take him out, and then they met to have a photo shoot with the kids, and it was really cute. um, the party just, fabulous party. They had lots of friends and family there. She did ask, obviously, it was his younger brother to speak, and he had really kind words to say about Gerald. So I thought that was a really nice moment. Um, then we have drunk Kelly, because Kelly clearly was drunk, baby. The drinks was flowing. I said, well, Kelly, baby, I don't know what happened to baby Kelly. Kelly looked, she about to cry. She said, she, me and her husband, a couple goes. I said, I mean, who made them couple goes? I mean, because we still trying to actually see what the couple is coupling. Like, obviously, he looks like he's there and all the things. But and it just feels like she gets choked up. So I was like, okay, well, then you cut to K Michelle, and she said, basically she wants to sleep with everybody. She wants to sleep with she wants to sleep with Kelly, who she then puts them in the mix with Gerald and Shamia and her husband. And then I was like, okay, K Michelle, okay. You said all the people. I guess you said all the people down there sleeping together. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There'd be a lot going on in them Atlanta streets, though. I will say that. I definitely would say that. Um, they started to talk about the conversation. So you have Cynthia and Phaedra there, and they start to talk about the meetup with Angela. And I hate to say that right off the top, it seemed like Shamia started lying because, unless again how it was edited, she immediately went into saying that Angela came for her marriage, and I was like, I don't. From what we saw, it did not appear that Angela came for her marriage first. It appeared that she came for Angela's marriage by saying basically her husband be outside, and then Angela came back with, my husband be seeing you outside. If you seeing my husband outside, he seeing you outside. Then basically both y'all outside. Then she went into the sleeping with the people, the NBA, look, NBA and NFL. So Shamia calls, uh, Shamia calls Angela Bigfoot. Cynthia asked if we could please not call her that. Shamia says she gonna call her Bigfoot as long as she wants. Cynthia says, as part of the Bigfoot community, and she said, Shamia went into that. You don't be tripping over yours. I said, Lord, I said, do Angela be out there tripping over her feet? I said, that's a bit much now. You can't be out here you can't be out here tripping on your feet now. But I mean, I don't believe I don't believe that Angela be tripping on her feet, but um it just didn't seem like Cynthia really cared for that comment. Um and you could kind of tell, but and you could tell that Cynthia maybe wanted to say a little bit more, but she was like, okay, girl, this your house. So again, I guess Cynthia was kind of like, I'm not gonna again, this your husband's birthday, this your house. I'm not going to go into disrespecting you in your house. So they kind of left it there. They touched some butts and some more stuff because Kelly said she needed a feel of Shamia's butt. So I guess I don't know. Kelly was drunk as hell, but it was funny. Kelly was drunk as hell. We have Portia and Giselle meet up because Giselle's in town from, and if people don't know, Giselle is from Real Housewives of Potomac. Apparently, she was in Atlanta because she had filmed Beyond the Gates, which is an all black soap opera. So apparently, she filmed some scenes with them. So her and Portia meet up. So of course, Giselle wants all the tea, so she starts talking to Portia about her divorce. Portia tells her it was 15 hours in the courtroom during her divorce. I'm like, that's crazy. 15 hours? I mean, I'm just like, what is you doing like y'all had that much? That's a mess. I don't know. 15 hours? That's a long time for one day for courtroom for divorce. So she told her they got it all done. So I guess it was worth it to be there all day. So you could just go on and put a bow on it and be done with it. Giselle did ask about Shamia, and Portia just says, she rests her case. I think at this point, Portia just doesn't really seem to have an opinion on Shamia. It doesn't seem like Portia really wants to talk about Shamia or any of that type of stuff. So um, she says that she doesn't want to exclude her and make things awkward, which is understandable because you guys have to work together. You got to be in a group. So it's kind of frustrating to um it's kind of frustrating for you to be like pick and choose of like when you want to be around. Which again, I don't blame Shamia for not inviting Portia to the party because again, it was for her husband. If it was something else, then I felt like Shamia definitely should have included Portia because again, Portia when she had everyone at her home, she included Shamia even though they weren't on the best of terms. But I just feel like a husband's birthday party is just something it's different for me. Um Portia does say that, as long as Shamia doesn't bring drama to her face, then she'll continue to do what she's been doing. She'll speak and do all the things that kind of get along and coexist in the same space for the most part. And which that's all you can really ask for. Like if you don't disrespect me, I won't disrespect you. If we kind of stay in that lane, then we won't have no problems. When we move out of that lane, then we have some things to talk about. I feel like the only thing we saw Pinky in this episode doing was working. I mean, that's all I feel like. I feel like all she was doing is working in this episode. But anyway, so Pinky's holding auditions for her scripted series. Um, we have Drew arrive to see Shamia in the back. They're surprised to see each other. So Shamia asked Drew if she wanted to look over the lines with her and or no, maybe that's when she asked her was she auditioning or something along those lines. Drew kind of laughed like, "Girl, no, I'm not auditioning." Drew did ask her if she wanted her to read lines for her, and Shamia said no. So Drew kind of made it a point, like, she has that team that handles all of her bookings and things like that. So she doesn't just show up places to audition. And I mean, I really don't blame Drew, because this is not, unfortunately for like Shamia, this is something like you're new into getting. So, if somebody offers something, you may want to jump on it so you can, see. But this is something that Drew has been doing. This is her career. Like, she's been an actor. Music is something, is the new lane that she's stepping in. Her being an actor is not new, and it's something she's been doing for a very long time. So I understand her having her guidelines of how her business is set up. And just because we homies don't mean that I'm gonna change my bookings go, and the channels that they go through. So I don't blame Drew for that. Drew, it is funny because then when Drew goes in to see Pinky, they think she's auditioning. So I don't know whose wires got crossed, but Drew said she was just basically showing up for support. And Pinky was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna audition." And Drew was like, basically, like, "Girl, I never got the stuff." So, so then you got to try to figure out who's telling the truth, who's lying, because you clearly see the flashback of them being on the phone and her manager sitting there, and Pinky telling her da da da, and Drew telling Pinky to send the information over. I'm gonna no, she's gonna send her email or something like that, and then send the information over. So either Drew didn't send the information over, her manager, somebody didn't send the information over, or the information was sent over and Pinky never got back. It's one of the two things that happened. You do see Pinky say that she doesn't have time to play the cat and mouse with Drew. So again, somebody's lying. I don't know. Maybe we'll get it figured out by the reunion of who didn't send what. Because somebody didn't send something. So Mia goes into her audition. They think she's great. They tell her basically, like, somebody, Pinky tells her that somebody like you is going to go far because you didn't come in here expecting the friend treatment and so on and so forth. And so, I think the same could have been said about Drew, because it wasn't presented to her. So, well, she says it wasn't presented to her. So she didn't just come in there being like, "Oh, okay, since we're cool, I'm just thinking I'm going to read lines." So I think they, Shamia did what was best for her and Drew did what was best for her. So I think it is what it is. Like I said, all we've been seeing Pinky do is work. Like, Pinky working, baby. Pinky got work to do. 'Cause so K Michelle invites Phaedra over to her home. Phaedra brings her a pecan pie. I mean, me personally, I don't like pecan pie, but um, I don't really like pie at all. Not really a pie eater, but yeah. So they go outside. They're gonna go fishing. I thought it was cute. A little cute scene out at the fishing. Now, I wouldn't have wanted to fish because I don't do nothing. Now, they did use hot dogs with Kool-Aid on it, which I ain't never heard of. But I probably would have did the hot dogs before I definitely would have did worms. So I wouldn't have wanted to catch nothing. Like, girl, can we just sit out here with a little drink and look at the water? Because I don't want to throw nothing out there. I don't want to touch the hot dog with the Kool-Aid on. Maybe you could have gave me a glove or something, then we could have did that. But again, if I had to do it, I would much rather did the hot dogs or worms. I'm definitely not touching no worms. Okay, excuse me. K Michelle did say in her confessional that she tried not to like Phaedra, but her and Phaedra are more alike. I just thought that was kind of interesting because Phaedra has done some, very evil, questionable things in the past. So to say that you and her are alike, and again, this not to, because again, we didn't really talk about the plot too much this episode, but again, to go back to this whole plot thing of why you have a problem with Drew and you keep saying that Phaedra and Portia were in on it, and you can sit down with these other two ladies and have a kiki and have a good time. I mean, I even see you like on Twitter and stuff, or X, like heart and stuff, or retweeting something that Phaedra might have said. Or so again, you're on good terms with her. So it's just weird still that Drew is the only one that you can't seem to have an issue. I mean, that you seem to want to continue to have an issue with. But we'll see. We'll continue to see how that plays out. K Michelle does talk about her IVF journey, which I think is, I mean, it's really sad because so many women deal with IVF issues, and just being able to conceive regular, and it's just a difficult process. So that's why a lot of times I'm just like, I don't know why men treat women the way that they do, because the things that women have to go through to bring life into this world is crazy. Men would never be able to endure the things that we endure to bring life into this world. So I just feel like all women should be pretty much put on a pedestal just for being able to breathe life. Now again, some of your actions may cause you not to be, but for the bare minimum of being able to respect a woman, because again, for her to talk about how she has done IVF for years and the strain that she has put on her body, to try to give her now husband, which he wasn't her husband at the time and she was probably doing all this IVF, but he's her husband now. Her talk about how long she had to do it and how long it I mean how it affected her body and her mood swings and all of those things. So um I commend K Michelle for being able to talk about that and talk about what it's done to her, and how it even made her kind of more crazier than what she is now. I said, I know, girl, that's just a lot. It's just a lot for women. Um, they do kind of bring up Gerald's party, which Phaedra does, talking about some. Now, why was Portia not invited? I said, now Phaedra, and then the faces she made, like it was just some like complete shock that she wasn't invited. K Michelle was like, girl, you know why she was not invited. And she said, they always want to act like they're the bigger person. They're not the bigger person. I'm like, right. Y'all the bigger person till you're not the bigger person. So yeah. Um so we move to, no, excuse me. Rewind back. So Phaedra asked K Michelle, because I guess Drew sent everyone a text about the Rich Homie Quan um little baseball thing, and that she was singing the national anthem. And she had asked all the ladies to attend. And so Phaedra asked K Michelle, was she gonna go? And K Michelle said no. And she said that she was already sick. I said, well, damn. I'm saying, this is just, you're sitting here with one of the people that you said was in on this, and you're saying that you can't even go and support Drew. It's crazy to me. So we get to the Rich Homie Quan Memorial event where Drew is singing the national anthem. Shamia walks up. I think Shamia was the first one there. So she walks up to Drew, and of course, right off the top, again, here goes Shamia being shady. I'm like, I think the thing with Shamia is that if you want to be this person, you want to be shady, you want to maybe be, I don't know if you want to necessarily be the villain, But if you want to take that role, you got to own it. Because I didn't feel like Drew was being, after Drew said she wasn't auditioning and asked you if you wanted to run lines, like, I thought that's what actors do. Like, you say you run a line, I run a line. You run a line, I run a line. And that helps me with getting into my character. So I didn't feel like that was like shady of Drew to ask, but again, I don't know. Maybe it was. But for you to walk up and ask her, do you need me, do you need help with the anthem? I was like, oh now, Shamia. Like, why would she need help? Like, either she know the words by now or she don't. So they kind of start to go a little back and forth. Then Pinky walks up and she tells Shamia that Drew didn't audition, and I'm like, this is like, who cares that Drew didn't audition? Excuse me. Who cares that she didn't audition? Like, next subject. It doesn't matter. Like, it just didn't matter. So then Drew's manager walks up and kind of brings things up, which was good because Drew needed to start preparing herself to sing. So Drew sings the national anthem. We have Portia there. We have Kelly there, Shamia, and Pinky. So the four ladies are there. They're standing up. Now, I did again. I was like, I didn't understand why Shamia was recording the singing of the national anthem. Like, you're not really friends with Drew. It's not like you're like, oh girl, I'm gonna catch your moment for you so I can send it to you, or like, I didn't feel like that you were really trying to be supportive of, oh, let me record. I felt like you were recording because you were hoping she was gonna mess up and then you were gonna have that video. That's what I think. Because I didn't understand the recording because you're not cool with her. Then once Drew's finished, you got Kelly and Shamia. It seemed like to be kind of making fun of Drew's run that she did, which again, I thought she did a good run. It wasn't like it was too long, so it looked like a good run to me. And again, she sounded good. So once Drew's done, they no, excuse me, they flash to K Michelle, who has arrived for the event, but she's sitting in the car. She's calling Phaedra to see if Phaedra's there. Well, unfortunately, Phaedra couldn't come because her son had a football accident, so she was not able to attend. Kay wants to go, so she's like, "Well, I'm gonna leave her," and Phaedra's like, "Well, you gotta go in," and so then she changes it to, "Well, I'm here to support the family, pay her respect to the family, support the family. It has nothing to do with Drew singing the national anthem." I'm like, well, clearly because you missed it. So clearly you weren't here to see Drew sing the national anthem. I mean, that's clear as day. Hold on 1 second. Thinking my low water. So clearly that was not the case. Again, you can be cool with everybody else, but you can't have a conversation with Drew. So um all the ladies kind of gather and they greet K Michelle as she arrives. So Drew hugs her and she thanks her for coming. And Portia asked her why was she late. And Drew says, well, Kay said she wasn't coming. Excuse me. Kay said she wasn't coming and that she had told Drew that she was sick. And Kay Michelle says that, well, I'm not here, tells Drew that I'm not here for you. She's here for the family. I said, now, Kay, I mean, it's just annoying to me at this point. This K Michelle Drew thing is just annoying to me at this point. And as we see a little later in this episode, like when they go meet up, it's just annoying. So you have, okay, so all the ladies, they're going their separate ways. And so Drew and Shamia and K Michelle are meeting up at a restaurant. So K Michelle and Shamia are at the restaurant first. Um, I feel like again the common denominator is that Shamia is always throwing little shade first. I'm just noticing that. So when Drew walks up to the table, sits down, you have Shamia throwing a little shade, saying that we have to have a celebratory drink for you. And so Drew is like, okay, like for what? And she's like, well, we celebrating. And she's like, oh, you singing the national anthem. Why do we have to celebrate that? So y'all done came support. Okay. We're like, girl, just get a drink. But I don't know. It could just be me, but I just thought it was a little, again, Shamia trying to be a little shady. Um, Drew thanks K Michelle for coming again. Um, and, and I'm assuming that she really did say that she was sick. She really did text Drew or something and say that she was sick because Drew says, I thought you were sick. And she was like, I was, but I don't like to go places that I don't belong. And Drew does that. Drew makes that face. And Shamia reminds her that she told K Michelle that she didn't belong. She didn't belong in the group when they were having that back and forth at Phaedra's house. Drew's like, okay, that's what you're talking about. Um, she takes a jab at K Michelle that she doesn't understand segments of a sentence. I said, Lord. I mean, and again, I do kind of get Drew. It's like, girl, just say it. Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't you just say it? Why? Just tell me. You keep kind of going around the bush of things opposed to you just flat out just telling me, like, Drew, this is da 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 da. You talking about, oh, but again, Drew didn't just pop up and be like, girl, you don't belong in this group. She was responding to you. Y'all were in an argument. So it's not like so I get, but you plucked that out. Out of all the things you said about Drew, you plucked that one thing she said about you out. And now you upset about that. Girl, whatever. So Drew Drew says, um, so Drew is just like, girl, what is wrong? Drew is saying, I said something to you that you didn't like, and follows with the question of, I said something that you didn't like. So I think K Michelle said something or she didn't say anything. No, she asked her like what I said something you didn't like. I forget the exact line, but basically she was telling her like, okay, girl, I said something you didn't like. K Michelle's like, basically you said a lot of things that I don't like. And so Drew is like, but girl, what? What is it that I'm saying that you don't like? And K Michelle cannot answer that question. Can we get to answer the question? What is it? What is it that Drew is doing that you don't like? Tell her to her face. It's a lot around of the back of because you did have a problem with when you were saying what Portia saying with Drew, but now you're in front of Drew's face and you're not telling her. I don't understand it. Drew tells Kay Michelle she needs to speak up. Um, and Kay basically in her confessional saying, I was Miss Florida A&M, whatever she was. She got however many degrees, and I'm like, but that has nothing to do with you in these moments not being able to say what it is that's on your mind. That's the problem we're having. Nobody's saying that you're not, you're just not able to speak up. Well, then of course, K Michelle, she ready to go. K Michelle gets up, she got her purse. She said she going to the bathroom. Jamia knows she ain't going to the bathroom, so she pulls her purse off. Girl, you ain't gotta take your purse. She puts the purse back down. So when you look out, um, Kay is in Shamia's car and she leaves. And so Shamia's like, really? You gonna leave in my car? So Shamia and Drew start to have a conversation. Drew is basically telling Shamia to hold Kay accountable because she hasn't done anything for her to basically be treating her the way that she is. Shamia says that Drew keeps bringing up her dude's name with Kay, and Drew was like, "What? What are you talking about?" So again, this is why now to me, this is where the puzzle is kind of coming together because I understand why people are saying it's Shamia because when they flash back to Drew asking everyone, has she brought up Black and K Michelle's name together? Everyone said no, including Pinky, who is on K Michelle's nim little clique. She said no. She ain't said nothing to me about it. So then you have Shamia saying, "Well, this is why she's." And so Drew's like y'all gotta stop because I haven't done that. So clearly y'all just trying to make an issue. Um. So and I'm like, I feel her. Drew does make a point. Um. Again, that to Shamia that K Michelle needs to speak for herself. And she basically calls Shamia a lapdog again because she feels like you're now lapdogging for last year you were lapdogging for Portia. Now you're being a lapdog for K Michelle. Because if you're telling me that there's an issue, why isn't K Michelle able to tell me that there's an issue? And I mean, I do understand that. But K Michelle is a grown ass woman. And she should be able to communicate with Drew if she has a problem with whatever she has a problem with. So at this point, they kind of going back and forth. You get K Michelle, Shamia. K Michelle's assistant comes back while Shamia and Drew are going back and forth to pick up her purse. Well, then K Michelle and Shamia are at the truck and they got the Star Spangled Banner or the national anthem, one of them blasting loud and they singing. It was kind of corny. I didn't think it was funny. It was kind of stupid. Oh, because again, you had again what I keep saying about Shamia and her little shady shots that she's taking because she asked K Michelle, "Did you want to see Drew's singing?" And K Michelle said no. So it was like you knew she was gonna say no because you knew she don't like her, but you asked it anyway. So again, again, it wasn't anything that was real big, but it's like Shamia, either you want to get in the field and play because you can't get in the field and play and then be like, oh, well, they're this and they're that, and they keep bringing me up and they keep da da da. But you out here playing, so if we gonna play, let's all play. Let's all get in the little sandbox and we can play. Cause I'm gonna meet you where you at. So we'll see. Um, but that's about all we have for this episode. Thank y'all for listening.